What's going on, everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays. It's been a little while since I've gotten to say that. So, funny story. A little while ago, Shoddy, as soon as, pretty close to the PPL's end, Shoddy was like, "Hey, I'm making a league for the PPL offseason. Who wants to join it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll join, yeah." And he was like, "Okay, great." So he finds, 80 other people, whoever, completely forgets I exist. League starts. I'm sad that my good friend has abandoned me in my time of need. But 3 weeks in, Ellie unfortunately had to drop out due to personal reasons, and he was like, "Hey, fuckboy, you wanna join this league that I originally rejected you from because I'm a piece of shit?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, you're a worthless piece of garbage, let's do it." So I inherited Ellie's team, as you can see right here. I have Memaswine, Alakazam, Raikou, Shaman, Kabalion, Arcanine, Salamence, Hitmonchan, Jellicent, and the almighty Shelmet. It was kind of... Siri, what? Holy shit, Siri was recording that entire thing. Okay, awesome. So, anyway, at first it was kind of uncomfortable to build for, to build with, because it's not a team I made myself. However, I realized it's pretty similar. I like it a lot. Kind of lacking spikes other than Shelmet, but other than that, we're good. Yeah, so real quick, I'm going to go over my opponent's team. We're playing Kaz. Kaz we have played on the channel before in the No Falls tournament. I hacked him out a little bit, but this time he's bringing Victini, Ferrothorn, Mienshao, Gligar, Gastrodon, Kyurem, Garbodor, and Mega Altaria. Apparently he originally had a Mega Sableye, whatever, it doesn't really matter at this point. So this is the team I had to prep for. Basically, I was thrown in, he was like, "Hey, you have a certain amount of time, prep for Kaz, play him, go." I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So, without further ado, let's just get into the team builder real quick. We're going to start with Memaswine, and you're going to see a theme here. Well, you'll see a reason why I have this spread and stuff. Memaswine, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, Superpower, and Ice Shard. Whoops, that's not it. As you can see, it rips apart his entire team. It's his entire team super effective outside of the Gastrodon, which I 2 KO with Earthquake anyway. Basically, it has the potential to one-shot his entire team, other than the Ferrothorn and Garbodor, both of which I 2 KO with Earthquake/Superpower. So, no, that's not it. Ooh, this is awkward. Okay, there we go. So that is why those moves are there. EV Spread, this allows me to max attack Adamant, Life Orb, to hit as hard as possible, 2 KO everything like I said. This much speed, to make sure I can outspeed a Jolly Scarf Mienshao under Tailwind, and I am saying under Tailwind because we got Shaman running the Yachi Berry. That is so that I can guarantee myself Tailwind, setting up the Tailwind under, I can guarantee myself setting up the Tailwind in Kyurem's base, because Kyurem's a little bit scary, but with this, I'll be able to set up Tailwind, hit it with a Dazzling Gleam, die, regardless of its Scarf, Life Orb, Specs, whatever. If it has Substitute, I can break itself with Dazzling Gleam. Kind of expecting a bulky set because he's brought that the previous weeks, at least what I saw from the replays. No grass coverage to hit Gastrodon, that's kind of weird, but it's there. Gastrodon's not too big of an issue because my whole team not my whole team, but my team kind of deals with it offensively without the need of grass coverage, as you'll see later. But yeah, Earth Power, that's, what is that for? That is for the Victini and the Garbodor, Dazzling Gleam, Mega Altaria, Mienshao, and the Kyurem, like I said. And, oh, no, don't look yet. And then Hidden Power Fire, that is mainly for the Ferrothorn. Kind of wanted to, no Grass Stab, kind of weird, you'll see how it plays out. EV Spread, this is enough so I can outspeed Timid Kyurem, max special attack, and then 32 EVs and HP. I can set up Tailwind against multiple things, being the Mienshao. I can with a high jump kick from the Ferrothorn is the big one. I can switch into that relatively safely. Nope. Can also switch. I'm just gonna get rid of that tab. I can also switch into the Gligar and set it up. I can also do it against the Garbodor because I do outspeed it. Mega Altaria as well, though I might not want to because it's kind of set up fodder because Dazzling Gleam doesn't 2 KO a bulky-ish Altaria. So there's that. Stop going there. So there's that. After that, we got, by the way, I'm not going to go super in-depth with this because not quite as serious as the PPL. Still important, and still important to practice for the PPL, but just going to be going over my quick team analysis real quick. If you want to try and figure out some other moves and stuff why I did that, that wasn't a sentence. Continue. Cobalion. Choppleberry. Fearing that Mienshao very heavily, because it 2 KOs my entire team. My resist is Alakazam, my immunity is Jellicent, both of which get hit very hard by knockoff and can't really, well, they hit it back, but Scarf is just an issue because outspeeds Alakazam, still deals a ton of damage to Jellicent, 2 KOs with knockoff, high jump kick just straight OHKOs Alakazam. So Choppleberry, I can live a hit from the Mienshao, either get at my Stealth Rocks or hit it with a close combat, which has a chance to take it out. Iron Head for the Mega Altaria as for secondary stab. HP Ice is so that I can hit the Gligar. If it is a physically defensive Gligar, I believe I 2 KO it. Otherwise, also, let me just change this real quick because I was that. Naive Nature. That is so that I can 2 KO the Gligar. He can hit me with an Earthquake, I can take it, and then 2 KO him with the HP Ice. I can also set up Rocks against it, and Rocks are very important against my opponent's team, guarantees some KOs with Mammothline, etc. So there's that. EV Spread, this is enough to outspeed a Jolly Victini, and then the rest in defense, again, so I can take that high jump kick a little bit better, and take a couple other physical hits a little bit better. Next up, we have our Arcanine. Ignore the nickname, by the way. But, kind of Spadef, also kind of physically defensive Arcanine. We have 248 EVs in HP, we have 16 in defense, 236 in Spadef, 8 in speed, with an Impish Nature, Flare Blitz, E-Speed, Morning Sun, Will-O-Wisp, relatively standard. The ability to burn things is going to be nice. As you can see, burning the Mienshao would be awesome, can take a hit and do that. Burning the Gligar means that it can't really deal with my Arcanine offensively. Gastrodon cannot 2 KO me, so I can burn that, burn the Kyurem, burn the Garbodor, and the big one, burn the Altaria, because Dragon Dance is scary. Stop going to the battle. So it's that. This is poorly done. I'm aware that the recording screen is like cutting off half the EVs. I'll try and say them out loud for you guys, just realize that now. Mammothline, 236 speed, 20 Spadef, max attack adamant. Shaman, 220 speed, timid nature, max special attack, 4 defense, 32 HP. Cobalion, 192 speed, jolly nature, 64 defense, max attack. Already said the Arcanine. So there's that. Relatively standard spread. Can take hits from pretty much, can take one hit from basically anything. The Kyurem it can deal with, especially if it brings a bulky Kyurem, can burn it. Burns things, flare blitzes things, heals up. It's going to be a very, very good bulky pivot type of thing. Excellent switch into the Victini. Probably the best switch into Victini there is in League format. So there's that. There's Arcanine. Next up is an interesting one. I have Grand Wizard, the Scarfed Alakazam. So, like I said, really fearing that Mienshao. It just hits my entire team hard with high jump kick and knockoff, and I'm not bringing my ghost type to deal with it because it doesn't match up super well against his team. So I'm bringing Alakazam. I don't expect him to bring a Life Orb variant with Fake Out. If it did, I might want to run into Focus, but I'm not that much of a man. But Psychic, Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball hits pretty much his entire team super effective, other than the Altaria. Was thinking about Dazzling Gleam, realized I didn't really need it. I have enough checks to it, being Ice Shard, Iron Head, and this Fire Doge thing. So, Psychic Stab one-shots the Mienshao, just hits the team hard in general. Focus Blast, that is for the Ferrothorn as well as the Kyurem. Hits them both super effective, stop going down. Shadow Ball for the Victini, Energy Ball for the Gastrodon. Hits the team very hard, running modest. I speed tie with a Jolly Scarf Mienshao, but I don't think he's going to bring absolute max speed. I think he's going to bring enough speed to outspeed probably a base 100 that I have, like Shaman or Salamence. So there's that. And the last thing I have on my team is Hitmonchan. This is an interesting Hitmonchan set. Similarly to the Mammothline over here, I can outspeed pretty much anything under Tailwind. Will not be able to outspeed a Jolly Scarf Mienshao max speed, but I know Kaz likes to run Adamant, so I'm going with this. Life Orb actually And the moves I have actually 2-hit KO pretty much his entire team. 2-hit KOs the Ferrothorn, 2-hit KOs Victini, 1-shots the Mienshao, can knock out the Gligar with Ice Punch, 2-hit KOs a physically defensive Gastrodon, knocks out the Kyurem, 2-hit KOs Garbodor with Earthquake, and 2-hit KOs Mega Altaria with Ice Punch. So basically, under Tailwind, this thing is an absolute monster. Also, wanted a spinner. I need to keep my Arcanine healthy in order to switch into Victini and things like that, so I'm running Rapid Spin. Also speedy, so it will be able to outspeed a couple of his bulky Pokemon that he may have tried to speed creep and uninvested Hitmonchan with, so that's pretty good. But I've been kind of rambling for a little bit, so I think it's about time to go into the battle. I kind of spoiled it a couple times if you were paying attention closely, but here we go, into the battle. As you guys can see, he has Ferrothorn, Gligar, Victini, Mega Altaria, Gastrodon, and his Kyurem. No Mienshao, awesome. Chople Berry on this, useless. Scarf on this, pretty much useless unless he's bringing Scarf for this thing, or Scarf for this thing, or he gets the +1 with this thing. So there's that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I do want to get up my Tailwind because, like I said, Mamoswine completely hurts his team as soon as this is weakened, and this is weakened, I OHKO everything. Victini, Gligar, this with Icicle Crash, this with Superpower, as long as it's not a physically defensive variant, so very quickly we are going to get into the match. Things I'm fearing, not too much immediately. This, if it gets up to +1, could be an issue because Ice Shard will not knock it out, and I have to rely on potentially burning it or beating it with Scarf this thing. If it's a sub-variant, that's going to be an issue, but you'll see how that plays out. We're going to get into the battle. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to, again, ignore the nickname, but going to lead off with my Arcanine, and I know with my EV spread I can take 2 of anything, including Scald or Earth Power, so I just stay in and go for the Will-O-Wisp, burn this thing, see if it's running leftovers or not, etc. But here I do want to heal up, so I just go for the Morning Sun as he pulls the switch into Victini. Kind of interesting switch, but he is going to U-turn out and go into his Gastrodon. I go for the Flare Blitz here, kind of afraid of him being a sub-variant. Flare Blitz is a little bit more than E-Speed, so that's going to go off. And I could kind of stall this out, but I know he's probably going to recover. So I do go out into my Shaman, threaten him with the Grass move, even though I'm not really got covered on this thing. So here I do just decide to go for the Dazzling Gleam, predicting the Kyurem to come out, or potentially the Mega Altaria. And as you can see, that is very clearly a Spadef Kyurem. So that's more than likely that my Mamoswine will outspeed as well as my Hitmonchan. I am going to hard switch out into my Cavalion, which unfortunately a lot of damage gets off on my Cavalion, but because he didn't bring the Mienshao, I don't really need this thing too much. It would be nice to close combat this, Iron Head this, but I do have my checks to the Altaria. It's not going to be doing much to Gastrodon, and he's going to be afraid of the close combat, so he is going to switch out into his Gligar, meaning I get to go for my Stealth Rocks, and because this is the only defogger on his team, he either defogs with this, or I get a lot of damage off on the Gligar. And as you see, he does go for the defog, but because he does want to kill this thing, he goes for the Earthquake, I am able to set up my Rocks once again, and he is left out of range where an Ice Punch from my Hitmonchan will easily kill it, Alakazam can potentially kill it, and in comes Mamoswine, the biggest threat to his team. Hit him with an Adamant Life Orb, Icicle Crash, the Ferrothorn takes a lot of damage, and I decided to switch out here into Shaman. It was a roll, real quick, I'm going to pause it real quick, it was a roll on whether or not Earthquake killed, and it was not in my favor. And I could have knocked it out with Superpower, but because I didn't see leftovers, I was kind of afraid of it being a Chople Berry variant. But as you guys will see here, I'm going to go for the Tailwind. A little bit early, I think, but it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to go for the HP Fire, as it's actually the Aqua Berry, so I could have killed it with the Superpower from Mamoswine, but totally fine, I can deal with it later on. I go for the second Hidden Power, and Shaman kills off the Ferrothorn. Here he's going to go out and do his Kyurem. And I know that my Hitmonchan can take any hit from this thing, especially because it is defensive. I can take an Ice Beam, Draco Meteor, or whatever. And I realize this is a good time for me to spin. His Rocker in Ferrothorn is down, so I do just go for the Rapid Spin, as you guys can see here. Deals a little bit of damage, and I reveal the Life Orb. And because I am a speedy Hitmonchan, I will outspeed the Gligar and knock it clean out with a nice punch, and the rocks are up to stay on his side of the field. Here he's going to go out into his Victini. And again, I do just go out into my answer to this being the Arcanine, as he decides to go for the U-turn, which is totally fine. With leftovers, that basically did nothing. as he is going to go out into his Gastrodon. Now here, the most useless thing on my team is my Alakazam, and I don't have coverage on my Shaman to hit it. So I am just going to go out into that, and I'm going to click Psychic. Probably should have clicked Shadow Ball, or Energy Ball, but I didn't want to give him a free switch in Victini. Not that it would have been a huge deal, but just go for the Psychic. He pulls out the Mirror Coat, which I thought was very clever, and he goes down to Burn. Here, he has 3 things left: Kyurem, Victini, and Altaria. I don't want to give Altaria the chance to set up, because if it gets to +2, I could potentially lose if my Mamoswine cannot knock it out with Ice Shard. It will beat Victini, and it can potentially beat the Kyurem, because it is a bulky Kyurem. So I do go out into my Arcanine, it's the best thing that matches up against the rest of his team. He Mega Evolves and goes for the Heal Bell, which was kind of weird as I missed with the Will-O-Wisp, so that was kind of a waste of a turn. Here, however, he's going to go for the Dragon Dance as I go for my Will-O-Wisp again and thankfully connect. If I missed there, that might have been an issue because he isn't Heal Bell Altaria, but because he is burned, I am going to go out into my Mamoswine. Because he is burned, he cannot 2-hit KO me with Return, and if he goes for the Heal Bell, he cannot knock me out with he cannot knock me out with 1 Return. So he goes out into Kyurem, and I miss a nice little crash, but it's fine, because this is a bulky Kyurem. I do outspeed it, and can knock it out with the Life Orb superpower from my Mamoswine. Now that Kyurem is gone, he is going to go out into his Victini, and I'm going to fodder off my Shaman. This is one of the big reasons that I kept Shaman around, and he reveals the final Gambit, which is kind of funny. And at this point, Mamoswine can just come in and click Ice Shard. If he's a bulky variant, he may be able to take 1, but if he is bulky, he can't knock me out, and I'll outspeed him on the next turn and can hit him with a nice little crash. So Ice Shard is my best play. Knocks out the Altaria, and that is going to be a good game. So, thank you guys very much for watching. Not sure if I'm going to upload the rest of my SCL battles. This was the first one I had. This is the only one I've had so far. Next week, we go up against... We go up against Leo. 6-foot Axe, I believe his name is. Almost to show off, formerly used to be in UCL, etc. So look forward to that. And thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.